Hello, everyone. So, Mind Body Vault here. We have a special guest, Emily, and we're going to be, she's going to be leading you guys through an awesome 20-minute warm-up class. For those of you that don't know, I'm Allie, and we've got Mari here, and we provide fitness content for riders, equestrians, and athletes of all disciplines. So, Mari's going to go ahead and introduce our very special guest.
Hey guys, we are so excited to introduce our next guest, Emily Rose-Steffens. She's here with us today, all the way from California in her van life, guys. We can do exercise anywhere, right? So no excuses. She's a very accomplished athlete, former U.S. World Equestrian Games athlete, and she finished in the top 10 in Aachen. So she is well experienced with knowing how to accomplish goals. And today she's going to be taking us through a yoga warm-up that you could do pre or post ride or workout. So Emily, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, thank you guys. So yeah, I'm coming to you live from my school bus conversion in California. And I'm really excited to get started. This is the warm-up that I do myself almost every practice. I'm really sorry about the cat, by the way. She might get involved. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started on our knees, sitting on your heels, and then we'll go ahead and bring the hands to heart center. And if you can, you're just gonna peel your knees up off the floor a little bit. Then we're gonna close off the eyes and start off with 3 deep breaths through the nose, just to get centered into our practice. All right, then you can go ahead and open your eyes, drop your knees back to the ground, and then we're gonna start with opening up through the chest and shoulders. So we're gonna inhale, cactus the arms, exhale, round through the shoulders, and then inhale and sweep the arms up overhead, and exhale back to heart center. All right, one more time. Inhale, exhale, inhale, arms up, and exhale, hands back to heart center. All right, bringing the hands back to the mat, we're gonna go ahead and tuck our toes or flex our feet so our toes are tucked under. And then we're gonna hover the knees off the mat, and we're gonna take a couple of cat-cows like this. So inhale, head, tailbone come up, and exhale, they come down. One more time. Inhale, exhale. Then we'll just drop the knees to the ground and come back so we're sitting on our heels on our flexed feet. If that's a little bit too intense, if you're not used to stretching your feet, you can keep your fingertips on the floor here. But if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and lift up the hands, and we'll just start working out through the wrists. Couple of circles each direction, maybe wiggle out through the fingertips a little bit. And then we'll just reach the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, clasp them together, open up through the chest. Take a couple of head rolls side to side. Exhaling down. Inhale, bring the head back to neutral. Then we're gonna work into some mobility through the feet here. So we're gonna go ahead and try to stand up, fold forward. And then from here, we're gonna release the hands and just hang down. Then bending through the knees, we'll just slowly roll up through the spine. Inhale, hands come up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. All right, next inhale, we're gonna bend through the knees, hinge in the hips for chair pose. And then we're just gonna bring the arms back into airplane. And if you're feeling comfortable here, you're just gonna try to rise up onto the balls of your feet. And we're keeping our lower abs engaged here. so that we can support the lower spine. Then slowly staying on the toes, coming back to a forward fold. Then we'll drop the heels, reclasp the hands. Maybe we'll take right knee to right shoulder, left knee to left shoulder. Couple of times on each side. And then just working back down to knees the way we came up. Nice and slow. Coming back to rest on the heels. We'll bring the hands back to the floor now, maybe a little bit farther in front of your shoulders. And then we're going to take a couple of rolls through the spine. So we're going to come up into kind of a cobra, and then just roll through the hips back into a child's pose 3 times. So inhale and exhale back. One more time. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. All right, coming back into our tabletop position. We're just going to take the knees a little bit wider apart here. Then we're going to sit back on the heels, and we're going to come up. We're going to bring left hand to left heel. Come up, pushing the hips as far forward as you can. And then circling around the front and over to the other side. Inhaling as we come up and exhaling through the center. 2 more times. And on the next time we come back to center, we'll just come back to the tabletop. Bring the knees to about the width of your mat. And then we're just going to walk the hands out for a kind of wide leg puppy dog pose. Really keeping the lower abs engaged here and just dropping the armpits towards the ground. All right, on the next breath, we're gonna weight down through the left hand and just thread the right arm underneath and bring the left arm up for a nice little twist. You can even bring the left arm around to grab onto the right thigh for a little bit of a deeper twist. And we're gonna bring left arm back down, weight down through it, and one more time into puppy dog pose. And then we're just gonna do exactly the same thing on the other side. All right, right arm comes back to the mat, weighting down through it. And then we're just gonna pull through the puppy dog pose all the way to Sphinx. So we've got our elbows on the mat, chest pulling forward and through. And then we're just gonna bring the arms forward so they're nice and straight, and take a couple of little shoulder circles here. Few, both directions, forward and backwards. Then we'll just roll down through the spine so that we're laying all the way on the floor. Hands come out to the side. And then we're gonna roll up through the spine and down. One more time, inhaling on the way up and exhaling on the way down. All right, this time when we come up, we're gonna stay here. We're keeping the glutes and the lower abs engaged. And now we're gonna exhale, right arm comes down. Inhale, back up. Left arm comes down. Inhale, back up. 2 more times. All right, and now we're just gonna roll the spine back to the ground. Hands come underneath the shoulders. And we're gonna bring the forearms to the ground here. And then we're just gonna lift up into forearm plank. And then we're just gonna walk the feet in a little bit. This is where we start to build some heat. So we're just gonna go from here and flip into chaturanga. So just lifting the elbows off the ground and peeling the body through to chaturanga. And from here, we're gonna push back, hovering child's pose. So we're just gonna push back to child's pose, keeping the knees lifted. And then we're gonna go forward and backwards 5 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. All right. Then coming back one more time into chaturanga, we're gonna go ahead and lift upward facing dog. And exhale back to down dog. And we'll just take a moment here. You can pedal out through the feet. Do whatever you feel like you need to do here. Maybe a little nod, shake of the head. Working out through the backs of the calves and the legs. Lower abs. Stay engaged as always. And then we'll just step the feet forward a little bit and a little bit wide so they're out the width of the mat. Now we're going to take a twist. So right hand comes over to the left ankle. And then we're just going to wrap the rib cage around over to the left for 3 breaths. And over to the other side. Then coming back to center, we'll step the feet back into the regular downward facing dog. And then from here, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to lift left leg up, bend the knee over, opening up through the side body, maybe rotating the ankle out a little bit here. And then slowly just coming all the way over into wild thing. We're just going to keep bringing the arm all the way around, back to center, and slowly rotate back into high plank, keeping the left leg up, and then slowly coming through our vinyasa, trying to keep the left leg up all the time, all the way back to 3-legged dog. And from here, bringing the knee forward to the nose, and then stepping left foot between the hands. Inhaling up, crescent lunge. We're going to bring the upper body forward and just lift up onto the balls of the left toes. All right, let that heel come down. Hands come to heart center. And we're just going to rotate into our Skandasana, our side lunge, and all the way back towards the back of the mat. Then go ahead and sit down and reach towards your right toes. And then from here, we're just going to bring it all the way back around and keep twisting it all the way over to the left. Couple of breaths here. You can get a little bit deeper into the twist by opening up through the arms. And then from here, we're just going to slowly come up for our rotated warrior. Inhale, reverse rotated warrior. And exhale, cartwheeling the arms forward. And from here, we're just going to kick up into standing split on the left side. And then we're going to bring the right knee down to the back of the left calf. For a little Shiva squat, if you feel comfortable, you can bring your hands up to your heart. It's also okay just to leave the fingertips on the ground here. And then slowly rising up into warrior three. It's okay if you get a little bit wobbly. You can always just come back into it. Then inhaling, we're gonna lift up, bringing the back leg forward. We're just gonna hold it here for a few breaths. Really using the core and the top of the quad. Just cross that leg over. We're gonna come down into our figure four chair pose. And then hands drop all the way to the floor for a little hip stretch. Opening up to the left side. We're gonna sweep that hand back down to the mat and just bring that leg back on through. And from here, we're gonna go back into our chaturanga. And you can go however you want to. So if you want to try a handstand back or a crow pose back to chaturanga, you can go ahead and just play with whatever you want to right here. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Then we're gonna inhale, right leg comes up, open up through the hip, opening up through the right side body. Maybe take a few twists. Keep all the way, coming back over into high plank, keeping the right leg lifted. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And inhale all the way back to three-legged down dog. Next breath, bringing the right knee forward, stepping the right foot through the hands, and inhaling all the way up to crescent lunge. And we're gonna hinge upper body forward, lift up onto the balls of the right toes. Just hold it. Then lower down through the heel, hands come to heart. And we're just gonna get into our side lunge. Turn all the way to the back. Reach back for the left toes. And then hands come back to heart center. And we rotate all the way back forward and all the way around, twisting to the right. Get a little deeper stretch, opening up through the arms. And then slowly lifting into our rotated warrior. Inhale, reverse rotated warrior. And exhale to frame the right foot. Then we're just gonna step off the back leg into our standing split. Really pulling through the back body here. And exhale. Right knee comes to the back of the left calf. And you can either leave fingers on the floor here, or maybe bring hands to heart center. And then we're gonna go ahead and lift slowly into warrior three. Arms come forward. And inhale. I'm gonna step back a little bit, sorry. Inhale, left leg comes through. Just holding it here, using the core, using the quads, And then we're crossing left knee over, coming into our figure 4 chair pose. Hands come to the ground. We'll take a little bit of a twist to the right now. Sweeping right hand down. That left foot comes all the way through. And then we can either go through crow pose or handstand back to our chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good job, guys. All right, from here, we're gonna jump, step, or hop to our Nilasana squat at the top of the mat. So you're just gonna bring your feet to the outsides of your hands. However you want to. And we're just gonna meet right here in this yoga squat. Hands come to heart center, really bringing the chest up. The heels towards the ground. You can find a little movement here. And we're gonna open up to the right for a nice big twist. Exhale back to center. And inhale, opening up to the left. Exhale, back to heart center. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and sit right down from here and bring the legs up for boat pose. And from here, we're just gonna lower down to low boat for 5 breaths. So slowly down. And then for here, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're gonna rotate over to the left side. 5 breaths here. All right, and then on over to the right side for 5 breaths here. Rolling back to center. We're going to come back up through boat pose. And then you're just going to drop the feet down into butterfly. From here, we're going to bring right hand, right knee, left arm comes up and over, and we're just going to push down on the right knee as we twist over to the left. And inhale, back to center. This time, left hand comes to left knee. Right arm comes up and over, and we're just going to push down on that left knee as we twist over to the right. Trying to come a little bit deeper into the twist with each breath. And inhale, back to center. All right, one little forward fold here. So we're going to come straight through the lower back, really reaching forward with the crown of the head for a little forward fold. 3 breaths here. And inhale, coming back up. We're going to plant the feet onto the floor. We're going to bring the arms out to the side. And then we're slowly going to roll down through the spine. So it's going to be a little bit hard to see here because of the angle in the butts. But what we're going to do when we get to our backs is a little bridge pose. So you're going to keep your shoulders on the floor. And you're just going to lift up through the hips. And we're going to hold that for 5 breaths. And I'll count it for you. All right, so slowly down, really using the core. And then once you're on your back, we're going to keep the shoulders on the floor, hands pressing down, and we're going to roll up through the hips and the spine, really pushing the hips as high as you can, keeping glutes engaged. And we're going to hold this for 5 breaths. And then slowly roll back down through the spine. And we're going to just take the legs side to side a couple of times to twist out through the low back. And then for our second back bend, you can take whatever back bend you want. You can do what we just did. You can take wheel if that's in your practice, whatever you decide. But we're going to take it for 5 breaths and then meet back on our back. So whichever one you want to do, starting it now. And then slowly lowering back to the mat with control. And now we're just going to take the knees side to side one more time. Then we're going to bring the knees into the chest and rock back up to sitting. We're going to stay here, feet lifted off the floor, hands come back to the side. And we're going to do 20 toe taps here. So with each tap, you're going to exhale your breath and engage your lower. So when you're ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We're going to let the legs extend straight out in front of us. Take a little twist right, a little twist left. Hands come up overhead, flex the feet, really working through the legs, and really reaching forward through the low back and the crown of the head for one last forward fold. Maybe take a little undulation here, so coming up through the spine, re-straightening, and rolling back down. So 3 more breaths, and with each exhale, we're just going to try to come a little bit deeper into the stretch. All right, and from here, we're just going to take one last vinyasa. So we're going to tuck the legs through, come back to our chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then we're just going to either step, handstand, hop, or just walk the legs back through the hands. And come into our nice, easy sitting position. And I just want you to take a little moment here, since this is a warm-up, to set an intention for what the rest of your practice is going to look like today. So just going to close off the eyes and take a few deep breaths here. All right, and that's it for today for the warm-up. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll hand it back over to Ali and Mari now.
Oop, I was muted. Thank you, Emily. That was a really nice flow. I feel totally warmed up. I'm ready to go do some more handstands, maybe get on the horse. Thanks so much for teaching us.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Emily. We really appreciate it. Bye, guys.